Welcome to Hidden Horizons, a channel where we uncover the most fascinating stories from world history that often remain in the shadows. Here, we journey through forgotten civilizations, hidden wonders, and ancient mysteries, all told with calm narration that invites you to reflect and imagine. If you find curiosity stirring within you, remember to like and subscribe to support future explorations into the unknown. In today's story, we unravel the enigma of desert societies that learn to turn endless sand into survival. You will step into a world where water is more valuable than gold, and knowledge passed through generations is the key to existence. Discover how ancient peoples engineered water systems, underground cities, and far-reaching trade networks in landscapes that seem impossible to inhabit. Chapter 1. Whispers on the Wind. Before the first stones were laid or wells dug, there was only the endless sweep of sand. In this opening chapter, invite yourself to feel the dry hush of the wind and the heat shimmering on the horizon. Here begins our exploration of some of the most unforgiving landscapes on Earth, where survival demands both imagination and resilience. Ancient footsteps once pressed deep into the soft dunes, their paths lost to time and shifting winds. Imagine the courage required to call this desert home, to carve out existence where so little grows. Shadows stretch long as the sun rises and falls, and each grain of sand holds echoes of stories old as stone, forgotten perhaps, but waiting to be unearthed. Beneath the vast silence, there is a pulsant whispers carried on the wind. The desert is not as empty as it seems. Listen carefully to the hush between gusts, and you might sense the secrets buried just out of sight. These lands, seemingly barren, have witnessed the rise and fall of entire civilizations, their mysteries masked by shifting sands. The sky glows a fierce blue by day, and chills to midnight velvet by night. In this harsh contrast, human resilience takes root. Picture a traveller squinting against the sun, searching the horizon for signs of shelter or water. Each journey across these dunes is a small act of hope, shaped by necessity, guided by ancient knowledge hidden beneath the sand. Throughout history, these landscapes have challenged every living thing. Life here is a delicate balance, a constant negotiation between challenge and adaptation. Creatures sculpted by heat and time move quietly, blending with the stones and scrub. Each day is a new tester lesson from the desert, written not in words, but in survival itself. But for those who listen, the desert speaks. Its stories are written in fossilized shells and lost pottery shards. Some say the wind itself murmurs fragments of a bygone age, carrying tales of ingenuity, drought, and discovery. To wander here is to walk alongside ancestors, feeling their wonder, fear, and the stubborn hope that shaped every footstep. Imagine standing at the edge of an ancient settlement, now little more than sun-baked ruins. What drove people to settle here, in the heart of harshness and scarcity? With each breath of hot, dry air, there is mystery, who they were, how they endured, and what secrets still linger beneath the shifting surface, waiting for curious minds to find them. As night falls, the desert transforms once more. A blanket of stars stretches overhead, silent and cold, a reminder that even in the harshest places, life and wonder endure. In the darkness, ancient civilizations rest, their stories sleeping beneath layers of sand hidden for centuries, ready to reveal themselves to those willing to listen to the whispers on the wind. Chapter 2. Seeds of Innovation. As dawn coloured the endless sands, early desert dwellers watched the shifting landscape. Each breeze and hidden pool became a lesson, teaching them how to live in harmony with harsh conditions. Through careful observation, these resourceful people noticed the patterns left by wind, the places where water collected and vanished, and the quiet persistence of native plants and animals. Ideas began to bloom quietly within their imaginations. They watched how the sun shaped the land, how shadows crept and faded, how morning coolness gave way to midday fire. Life in the desert demanded patience and a keen eye for change. In these still moments, families whispered stories of past trials and clever solutions. New generations listened carefully, dreaming of ways to catch the rare rainfall or find hidden shade. Across the sands, curiosity grew deeper with each observation. It was not only the grand changes that sparked inspiration, but also the smallest details. The way dew formed along stony paths at dawn, or how birds circled near secret springs. In this world of extremes, Every clue could mean survival. The elders paid attention to the land's subtle secrets, passing wisdom gently through words and shared moments. These seeds of knowledge began to take root in eager minds and hopeful hearts. In quiet corners of the encampments, ideas silently took shape. Some imagined collecting breeze with woven mats, others wondered how to trap water from fleeting storms. Their earliest tools were simple: hollowed gourds for carrying water, stones to mark hidden wells, and woven baskets to gather food from sparse grasslands. Each tool represented years of trial, error, and inventive thought, transforming challenges into opportunities for their communities. The inhabitants discovered the importance of watching the animals that survived beside them. Desert foxes burrowed into cool earth, while hawks soared high to scan for signs of life. By mimicking these creatures, people found new ways to shelter from the sun or signal distant friends across sand dunes. Nature itself became the greatest teacher, its lessons branching into every solution and every hope for survival in the relentless heat. As seasons shifted, so did the people's strategies. Some began digging pits to store precious rainwater, lining them with clay to stop seepage. Others charted secret paths linking scattered waterholes, memorizing every dune and rocky outcrop. What seemed barren was, through careful study, revealed to be full of hidden potential. Ingenuity became a bond woven into the daily lives of the desert dwellers, uniting them in their pursuit of a better future. With patience and quiet ambition, they learned to build windbreaks out of brush and stone. These simple structures tamed the harshest gusts, allowing new plants to take root and provide food for the village. In time, families celebrated small victoria shade where none had grown before, a trickle of water lasting a precious day longer. Each small innovation was met with awe, fostering hope amid the endless dunes. Stories told by firelight carried tales of great inventors, those who first trapped a raindrop or carved a channel from a dried-up brook. Children listened with wide eyes, eager to dream up their own answers to the desert's riddles. This spirit of invention wove its way through the fabric of daily life, reminding everyone that within every hardship there might be a waiting solution. Dreams, observations, and needed persistence formed the heart of progress. Sometimes innovation was born of necessity and urgent need for water during an unforgiving drought, or a sudden sandstorm scattering a season's stores. In these moments, teamwork and creativity shone brightest. Neighbours worked together, testing out new ideas and sharing discoveries freely. The desert, though harsh, pushed people to rely on each other to observe carefully, adapt quickly, and dream boldly for the sake of all. By laying down these early seeds of ingenuity, the people forged a path for future generations. Their clever solutions, guided by careful study of land and life-turned survival into art. In the chapters ahead, we will see how these first sparks of imagination led to engineering marvels and thriving societies, proving that even in the world's harshest places, hope and creativity can bloom like wildflowers after a rare desert rain. Chapter 3. The Art of Finding Water. In the shimmering silence of the desert, survival depended on secrets passed quietly from one generation to the next. Water, more precious than gold, demanded creativity and deep understanding of the land. Communities studied every shadow, breeze, and morning chill, searching for hidden signs. Their lives became shaped by an artful awareness, a respectful partnership with a landscape that gave little and demanded. Stepping deeper into this world, we find ingenious solutions tucked away beneath the sands. Some families safeguarded their lives with hidden wells cunningly covered to guard against both heat and wandering eyes. These wells could be forgotten by outsiders, but within each community, their locations were protected. Knowledge is shared only by trust and necessity. Every drop of water represented both inheritance and hope woven into their daily rituals. Before the desert sun rose too high, villagers gathered to collect morning dew. Smooth stones and woven mats were carefully placed to catch the faintest drops as the temperature shifted at dawn. Each bead of water glimmered like a tiny jewel, the result of patience and keen observation. These dew collectors told the story of people accepting nature's rhythms, celebrating what the landscape could offer instead of resenting its scarcity. Beyond wells and dew, these desert dwellers mapped the mysterious dance of fleeting rain. They studied animal tracks, shifting sand dunes, and the scent of moist earth, learning how to predict when and where precious rain might fall. During these rare storms, their preparations paid off. Channels, reservoirs, and cisterns stood ready to capture every possible drop. Rain was not taken for granted, and its arrival brought quiet celebration. But adaptation was more than invention. It was a way of life. Elders taught their children how to honor water. Stories were told by moonlight about the time the wells ran dry, or when a single cloud brought relief. The lessons were gentle, yet firm reminders that the desert repaid ingenuity and respect. Over time, habits formed that stitched together the survival of entire generations in this unforgiving land. With every technique, there were rituals. The uncovering of a hidden well might be done at night, by lantern light, the community gathering silently. Dew collectors were tended with care, cleaned daily, never left to waste. These acts became almost sacred, uniting the people and connecting them to those who came before. Scarcity taught harmony instead of hoarding, and encouraged a reverence that shaped the rhythm of daily living. Even the act of searching for water was communal. Together, families would sweep the sand, patient as they read subtle clues. Children learned to feel the temperature of the ground, to notice the direction of the breeze. Such skills weren't merely survival tools, they became marks of wisdom and belonging. In sharing discoveries, the group's bond deepened, turning hardship into shared strength and quiet pride. Not all efforts were visible. Underground, ancient channels known as Qanats or foggerers snaked for miles, moving water from distant aquifers to where it was needed most. Dug painstakingly by hand, these tunnels were marvels of engineering, maintenance, and faith. Their builders believed that balance with the earth was essential. Each channel represented a promise. What nature provided could be harnessed, but never exploited could be harnessed, but never exploited thoughtlessly. Soon, travellers and traders would marvel at these feats. Outsiders spoke in hushed tones about oasis settlements where green life blossomed against all odds. They brought tales of miracle wells, dew-catching gardens, and rain-trap systems unseen elsewhere. These legends spread, echoing the truth. When scarcity confronted community, creativity and respect unlocked the hidden abundance buried within the desert's heart. Today, the wisdom of these desert societies remains engraved in the land, spoken in lullabies, and practiced quietly in distant outposts. Their art of finding water stands not just as survival, but as a legacy of harmony with the earth. In their story, we find the lesson that scarcity, when met with patience and ingenuity, can reveal a world of possibilities. The desert no longer empty, but quietly full. Chapter 4. Cities beneath the dunes. Far below the blazing sun and endless waves of shifting sand, a hidden world waits in silence. Here, ancient hands chiseled chambers and tunnels into solid stone, weaving cool corridors beneath the desert's relentless heat. In these underground dwellings, shadows stretch long and air feels brisk. As the storm above rages, the cities beneath remain calm, a secret oasis carved by human ingenuity. Step further along these shaded pathways, and you will find wide, vaulted rooms linked by winding hallways. The rock walls retain gentle coolness, shielding life from the scorching world above. Every chamber is thoughtfully placed, sunlight slipping in through cracks or lanterns glowing with warm light. The designs are clever, with air shafts and water channels flowing quietly, nourishing a society that thrives where none should. The hum of daily life echoes softly through these hidden streets. Faint voices drift from marketplace stalls lining the main passage, while artisans shape delicate pottery and weave baskets from desert reeds. Children chase each other through shadowed alleys, laughter mingling with the gentle rush of water. Unlike the silence of the dunes, these halls are alive, buzzing with a quiet, determined energy fueled by adaptation. At the heart of the city is a marketplace full of colour, despite the absence of sunlight. Traders gather by lanterns' glow, exchanging salt, dates, and pottery. The air is filled with a rich mingling of spices and roasted grains, a tapestry of scents unfolding in the cool embrace of stone. Carefully stacked goods line the stalls, proof of the city's careful planning and resourcefulness. As you move deeper, the corridors narrow, leading past storerooms where precious water is conserved in great jars. Here, walls are etched with centuries of stories, recording floods, droughts, and legendary trades. Each alcove holds memories of survival, and each carved line is a testament to patient hands shaping sanctuary from the impossible outside. The silence here is gentle, soothing, almost sacred. Soothing, almost sacred. Families gather in cool chambers carved for comfort and security. Songs are sung softly, voices lingering beneath the arched ceilings. With their homes safe underground, people find time to teach the old Wayshow to read the winds, mend sandals, and preserve dried fruits for journeys. Generations thrive together in these protected spaces, their shared memories echoing in the dim, peaceful halls. It is in these secret refuges that festivals bloom. Candlelight glimmers along the walls as drums beat gently and dancers step in circles, shadows spinning against rock. These celebrations are quiet but joyful, made possible by the city's sense of safety beneath the sand. Even as the heat above roars on, here, underground, laughter and music offer constant warmth and comfort. Life here depends on careful balance. Every drop of water and granule of food is counted, shared and treasured. Cleverly hidden wells tap veins of water deep below, and stone kitchens preserve supplies through dry seasons. Community is everything. Neighbours work side by side, repairing tunnels or hauling jars, knowing their survival rests on unity and foresight within these shadowed streets. Legends grow in the quiet corners of these underground cities. Elders recount stories of first diggers who risked everything to carve safety from stone, of heroic journeys far beyond the dunes. These tales inspire the young and echo the city's mysterious, indomitable heart. Though the desert above never lets up, the people below have created a lasting legacy that whispers of resilience. As dusk falls, shafts of fading light drift into open courtyards. Families gather for evening meals, the city humming with soft conversation. Cool breezes flow through channels, steady and refreshing. Hidden beneath layers of sand and time, life continues, shaped by hope, memory, and a determination as unyielding as the rock itself. Here, beneath the dunes, the city endures. Chapter 5. Networks of Exchange. Across the boundless desert, hidden trails come to life with the steady rhythm of trade caravans. Picture long lines of camels, their hooves pressing into ancient sands, each step connecting distant worlds. Goods shimmer beneath woven cloth, prized incense, gleaming beads, and precious metals that travelled far from their origins. The lifeblood of these exchanges pulsed slowly, uniting societies with the promise of across shifting dunes. The desert's silence would be broken only by the quiet music of bells and soft footsteps. Each dawn saw new journeys begin. Traders loaded their camels at the heart of bustling oases, setting out for unknown horizons. The exchange was never merely about objects. It was a weaving of trust and tradition. Stories and customs travelled alongside spices and silk, enriching every community touched by this ancient network. In the gentle coolness of twilight, a caravan wound its way toward a distant city. Stars appeared overhead, guiding travellers who memorized constellations as maps. Beneath the moonlight, bargaining echoed through small camps. Every transaction meant survival, salt for grains, glass for dates, or scarves for silver. These hidden exchange routes weren't just for goods. They were living veins sustaining the fragile settlements of the desert, binding them invisibly to worlds far beyond the sand. Step by step, the desert transformed from barrier into thoroughfare. Oasis cities bloomed where trade was richest, emerging as havens for weary travellers. Water fountains burbled in shaded courtyards while merchants traded news of distant lands. The ebb and flow of goods shaped architecture and customs, as ancient walls rose to shelter marketplaces alive with colour and bargaining. In this way, commerce brought life and possibility to even the harshest stretches of the sands. Yet, these networks relied on trust and invisible currency as valuable as gold. Caravan leaders fostered alliances sealed by rituals and sworn oaths. Guides could sense changes in the winds, navigating storms and rival traders with equal skill. Every exchange was a dance of hospitality. Warm tea poured in humble tents, gestures of honest intent, and songs that turned business into friendship. Within these fleeting moments, ancient societies laid the groundwork for peace and prosperity. Goods journeyed not just for profit, but to answer the pulsing needs of survival. From far-off mountains came metal for tools, while desert tribes offered salt and date syrup. Glass beads from distant coasts sparkled in market stalls, acquired through patience and peril. The roots themselves braided across the sands, always shifting with wind and fortune each path, a testament to human will, resilience, and the enduring desire to connect across even the starkest distances. With every return, the caravans brought change home. News of distant rulers, fragments of new languages, and glimpses of exotic customs reimagined life at the oasis. Innovations like knots for securing baggage or new recipes flavoured with foreign spices spread quietly alongside treasured goods. Networks of exchange shaped not only what people owned, but how they dreamed. Travellers came back transformed, bearing ideas that would ripple through their communities for generations to come. At times, the sand itself seemed to guard the secrets of these networks. Whispered legends told of lost caravans and hidden stashes of gold buried in the dunes. Traders believed the desert was alive, a place that demanded respect and offered wisdom to those who listened. The rhythm of travel steady, patient, prepared for both blessing and hardship became a philosophy. It was a lesson written into every grain. In connection, there is always hope. These intricate webs of trade stitched together societies that might otherwise have seemed isolated by distance or harsh terrain. Oases flourished as meeting grounds where travellers, merchants, and storytellers would meet. These gatherings became events marked by music, laughter, and the exchange of stories as valuable as the traded goods. The magic of these moments lay in sharing something more than wealth or recognition of belonging to something larger than themselves. As the sun sank and desert winds carried away the last footprints, all that remained were the lingering echoes of exchange. The networks that stitched the ancient world together through the sand were delicate but enduring. They shaped not just fortunes, but identities, proving that survival in the desert was never a solitary triumph, but the quiet miracle of connection, patience, and the timeless act of reaching across empty spaces to find common ground. Chapter 6. Engineering the Impossible. Imagine standing in a place where survival seems unattainable, yet all around you is evidence of ingenuity. In deserts scorched by relentless sun, people wove webs of hope with stone and water. Their clever hands carved cisterns beneath the earth and crafted canals across dust-choked ground. Each ancient engineering feat, born from the will to endure, pushed nature's boundaries just a little further back. Vast cisterns, hewn from solid rock, became silent sentinels of survival. Rainfall, when it came, was fleeting, but these underground chambers captured every precious drop. Water, once lost to the parched wind, now rested cool and hidden, waiting for the long dry season. The people guarded these reservoirs fiercely, knowing that each drop meant another day, another harvest, another prayer answered by the earth. Canals shimmered like silver threads stitched precisely through the sand. Not a single bend was accidental, not a channel wasted. Master builders calculated gradients so that water would snake across miles to where it was needed most. This artistry turned barren soil fertile, feeding grain, dates, and palms that grew tall beneath unforgiving skies. With each furrow, the desert's grit loosened just enough for life to bloom. Ingenious sluices and gates allowed ancient engineers to command water's gentle flow. At dawn, a sluice was lifted, cool streams drifted out, irrigating entire fields with quiet precision. At dusk, the system closed, guarding what little remained. These simple mechanisms demanded deep understanding of the land. Centuries of observation distilled into one carefully timed gesture could determine whether a village flourished or faded. Sometimes, these living networks grew vast and unseen, burrowing deep underground. Tunnels called Qanats or foggerers extended for miles, carrying water beneath mountains and valleys. Dug by hand and lined with stone, these cool, dark arteries became lifelines. Generations would walk these passageways by torchlight, tending to vital flows in silence. Above ground, little betrayed the hidden miracle beneath their feet. To witness these marvels was to stand before the raw promise of human perseverance. Every carved reservoir, every measured canal, spoke of hopes stretching across centuries. The effort was collective families, neighbours, generations working hand in hand. When water finally flowed, laughter echoed between dusty stones, gratitude rising with each ripple. In these moments, impossible became possible, and survival turned into celebration. Even the tools left behind tell stories. Polished chisels, clay measuring rods, warm buckets. They are small relics, but each was part of something vast. The marks of stonecutters' hands can still be traced along the walls of ancient caverns. Generations later, their work endures, evidence that necessity kindles both patience and brilliance, often in the harshest landscapes where only the resourceful dare to dream. The desert wind still whistles through ruined arches and sunken channels. It carries whispers of architects and labourers, their voices united by purpose. These structures, weathered but resilient, invite us to wonder at what's possible when vision outlasts hardship. The ingenuity of the ancients lies not just in stone and water, but in an unbroken spirit of spark that flickers within every story of survival. Modern engineers study these ancient systems with awe. How did they survey the land so precisely without today's technology? How did they know where to dig or when to wait? The solutions were far from simple, born of generations' worth of failures and triumphs. In the blueprints of the past, we glimpse familiar struggles say a lesson that determination, above all tools, is often what endures longest. Chapter 6. Engineering the Impossible. These feats, carved in sand and stone, remind us that ingenuity flourishes even where life seems fragile. The ancients coaxed water from emptiness, shaping not only landscapes, but entire civilizations. In every droplet that filled a cistern, in every blade that sprouted beside a canal, there is a promise that against great odds, with enough vision and resolve, even the harshest world can be transformed. Chapter 7. Guardians of Knowledge. Across wind-blown dunes and sun-baked plains, a legacy was carefully woven by those who understood the desert's secrets. In this chapter, we reflect on how vital wisdom about finding water, choosing when to plant or harvest, and surviving the unforgiving climate was carefully preserved. These weren't merely instructions, but lifelines passed quietly between generations, ensuring that each new dawn, guardians of desert wisdom honoured the past by carrying stories forward. Whether whispered beside flickering fires or etched into worn manuscripts, knowledge lived on. These teachings were more than words. They were learned through ritual, mirrored in the shapes of pottery, or encoded in woven fabrics. Each method shielded hard-earned lessons from being lost to shifting sands. The desert, though harsh, relied on memory, its people becoming living vaults of resilience. Oral traditions formed a bridge between ancestors and descendants. Elders patiently shared tales of hardship and triumph, their voices steady, turning experience into guidance. Proverbs about patience during drought or cooperation at dwindling wells served as gentle warnings. In such ways, advice became part of communal memory, surviving where ink might fade. This spoken wisdom quietly shaped the choices of future generations, holding the community together amid uncertainty. Patterns stitched into blankets, baskets, or clothing carried codes of survival. A swirl might point to a hidden spring, while a series of knots mapped safe travel routes. These symbols spoke to those who knew how to look silent languages syncing with the rhythm of desert life. Knowledge embedded in everyday objects meant children learned simply by living alongside their elders, picking up clues with every story, every pattern, every well-worn path. Some wisdom hid within ancient manuscripts, written on weathered leather or fragile palm leaves. These texts, carefully stored in clay jars and hidden from the relentless sun, revealed ingenious techniques: how to construct wind-catching towers, dig underground reservoirs, or collect morning dew. Scribbled in delicate ink, each instruction connected people across centuries, their shared purpose uniting them against the challenges of scarcity and heat. The knowledge keepers often elders, teachers, or travellers carried heavy responsibility. They were entrusted not only with teaching but protecting what had been learned. Sometimes they faced choices between keeping knowledge secret to protect it or sharing it to save lives. The balance was delicate, as a forgotten trick for finding water or a lost planting calendar could mean disaster. Over time, communities honoured these custodians for shielding their fragile inheritance. In a shifting desert society, adaptability was as vital as tradition. New ideas blended with ancestral wisdom were embraced when rain was scarce or caravans brought unfamiliar crops. The guardians of knowledge walked a line between honouring what had always worked and experimenting with new tools. Their willingness to adapt kept their people alive. By learning from both past and present, they forged a culture both resilient and open to quiet innovation. Occasionally, knowledge was threatened by invasion, drought, or simple forgetfulness. When manuscripts were lost or elders passed with secrets still untold, entire lifetimes of learning could slip away. The community grieved not just for people, but for the vanishing wisdom each person carried. In response, they created ritual story nights, shared meals, festivals designed to summon stories and keep memory alive, weaving the past into each new generation. Each method of preserving knowledge revealed the desert's precarious balance. Water hidden beneath the surface, seeds tucked away for lean years, stories hidden in lullabies all testament to survival, born of both fragility and strength. The guardians knew that every lesson was precious, for the desert offered little room for error. Through diligence, creativity and care, their gifts endured, flowing quietly from one generation's hands to the next. Reflecting on these guardians of knowledge, we see not only persistence, but hope. The desert's most valuable inheritance isn't gold or jewels, but hard-won wisdom carefully handed down, shaped by necessity and carried with tenderness. In their stories and symbols, the people of the sands remind us that true resilience arises not from conquering the land, but from understanding and honouring its deepest truths. Chapter 8. Songs of the Wind. As the day cools and soft shadows play along the dunes, the desert's true heart is revealed not just in survival, but in celebration. Music fills the evening air, its rhythms shaped by centuries of tradition. The wind dances through woven tents as voices join in ancient harmonies, and stories are passed from one generation to the next. Here, culture becomes as enduring as sand and stone. Gathered close around the warmth of a communal fire, elders begin to recount tales carved deep into memory, each word weaving history and hope together. The drum beats echo like steady heartbeats, while flutes whisper melodies that seem to ride the shifting winds themselves. These gatherings are sacred nights when every listener becomes part of the unfolding story, carried outward across the sands by the unending song of their people. Songs of the wind are more than melodies. They are living records of migration, love, triumph, and loss. The lyrics recount epic journeys across harsh dunes and precarious mountain trails, honouring ancestors who shaped survival with creativity. Each chorus binds the community, reminding every listener that their footsteps are echoes of those who came before. In the silent spaces between, the wind answers with its own gentle stories. As night deepens, ritual dances begin, bodies swaying and circling with an elegant strength that speaks of both resilience and gratitude. Beaded anklets and shells clatter in rhythm, joining the wind and drums. Together, these sounds create a symphony rooted in the earth, drawing everyone present into communion with the past. Under the canopy of stars, each breath becomes an affirmation of belonging and endurance. In the lull between songs, there is laughter soft for some stories, jubilant for others. The elders encourage younger voices to sing, passing on melodies and memories that must never be forgotten. Children listen wide-eyed, absorbing tales of heroic hunts and celebrations of rainfall. Through this gentle, generational cascade, the very fabric of identity is woven, stronger than any hardship the desert might bring. Not all night songs are loud, and joyfulsome are quiet prayers directed at the moon and stars. These songs, whispered by solitary figures, ask for guidance, protection, or simply a gentle wind for tomorrow's journey. Each note is sent skyward as if it could return as rain. In these quiet moments, the desert feels both vast and intimate, sheltering its people beneath an endless ancient sky. The rhythms of the drums and voices stretch for hours, shaping time itself. These rituals remind every heart present that survival is not enough. Joy, beauty, and unity are just as essential. Even when the sands shift and winters grow cold, these traditions bind the community across distance and years, ensuring that no storm or drought can erase the melodies engraved in every soul. As dawn approaches, the community's songs seem to merge with the awakening desert breeze. Threads of music linger in the still air, their echoes close beside footprints and hearths. The performers slowly fall silent, leaving behind the legacy of another night where culture triumphed over hardship. In this way, the desert culture is carried anew each morning, living on through every person, every day. Each ritual, each song becomes an act of remembrance, gratitude, and hope. The community's spirit shines brightest not in the absence of struggle, but in profound resilience. As the sky lightens and the drums rest, the songs are not forgotten, but stored deep in every heart, ready to return whenever wind, memory and necessity call them forth again across the golden sands. The night of songs closes, but their presence remains woven into the tapestry of daily life and hard-won survival. The desert has shaped every note, every rhythm, and every silence. Together, the people and their windswept music have proved enduring, indomitable, and beautifully alive, echoing endlessly through sun-bleached valleys and the passing of time, holding together a world sculpted from both hardship and hope. Chapter 9. Shadows and Survival. In the heart of the desert, darkness sometimes fell without warning, not just at dusk, but in the form of droughts that turned wells to dust, or invaders who swept across the sands like sudden storms. Yet, even as their world was shaken, the desert dwellers found strength within, guided by memories of elders and ancient tales. Reflection became a bridge across hardship, shaping their responses with patience and hope. Stories from this time are etched in silence and in sand. There were moments when the air grew thick with worry, the loss of vital springs, the disappearance of a long-held trade route, or a marketplace emptied by sudden fear. But each crisis became a lesson, written not on paper, but in the way daily routines quietly shifted. Children learned to carry water farther, to read the sky for signs, and to listen when elders spoke gently of what once was. Beneath starlit nights, the people gathered together, sharing food and memory. Songs were sung, murmured softly so as not to wake dreams or ghosts. The act of remembrance honouring ancestors who survived their own shadows wove resilience into the hearts of the community. Their stories became a map, pointing toward what was needed to endure, even when all certainty seemed to sink beneath the sands. Calm perseverance guided their every step forward. When drought pressed hardest, wells and cisterns ran low. The people relied on old wisdom, rationing the last drops and building new channels to catch dew from stone. Fields withered, yet seeds were tucked away, waiting for the day when rain would return. Some families left in search of far-off oases, but many stayed, showing that survival was as much about the will to endure as the resources in hand. Hope lingered among them like cool air before dawn. Facing invasion, the community became a shield for its most vulnerable members. Watchers stood on windswept ridges, scanning for unfamiliar silhouettes. Defensive walls were reinforced not only with stone, but with the unity and silent determination of all who called the place home. Even during the darkest hours, acts of kindness, sharing bread, shelter, or a reassuring word became the strongest defense. Loss was mourned together, but no one carried fear alone. Adaptation shaped every decision. The people learned to thrive with what little they had, improvising tools from bone and clay, finding edible roots hidden beneath shifting dunes. When old solutions failed, they gathered to dream up new ones under the quiet glow of lanterns. Their innovations were born from hardship, not in spite of it, but because of it. Each small discovery was celebrated with gratitude and a gentle trust in tomorrow's possibilities. Traditions surrounding loss became deeply rooted in daily life. When a friend or family member was gone, the community honoured them by weaving their stories into song and ritual. Grief was not hidden, but carried together, softened by the compassion of many hands. This togetherness created a sense of safety, reminding each soul that no hardship lasted forever, and that shared memory could outlast any shadow cast by adversity or time. Nature, too, became a silent mentor. The shifting patterns of wind and sun revealed paths for finding shelter and water. The people paid attention to animal tracks and listened for rare birdsong, trusting these signals during lean years. Their ability to respond to subtle changes, reading the land like a whispered secret, grew sharper with every challenge faced. In time, this bond with the desert made even survival itself a form of gentle wisdom, passed between generations. Through every trial, the desert society remembered that hardship did not erase identity. It revealed the essence of who they were. Clay vessels might crack and walls might crumble, but laughter and hope were always rebuilt. Each crisis uncovered new ways to care for one another, binding them more closely. In surviving, they found new reasons to celebrate, grateful for both the bright dawns and the lessons waiting in deepest shadow. As this chapter of shadows and survival draws to a close, the enduring spirit of these desert societies lingers, quiet yet unbreakable. Their legacy, carried in story and song, survives the winds and the sun's relentless gaze. These people thrived not by escaping hardship, but by welcoming resilience into their lives, adapting, remembering, and looking forward with calm determination. In the desert's silence, hope persists through all the ages to come. Chapter 10. Echoes Among the Sands. As sunlight drifts across the endless dunes, we find ourselves drawn back to the present moment. The narrations of those who mastered existence within harsh, arid wilds linger in our thoughts. Their ingenuity and perseverance illuminate paths from the distant past to today, inviting us to contemplate the lessons they offer. How did these voices, once faint in the wind, become echoes shaping our appreciation of resilience, With every grain of sand, these ancient societies wrote a story of survival and adaptation. Their methods ingeniously capturing scarce water, creating life beneath rock and earth, forging roots that connected civilizations still inspire awe. We marvel not only at their feats, but at their enduring spirit, etched into every desert wind. As we listen, the quiet wisdom of desert dwellers seeps into our imagination, urging us to honor the will to thrive again. The answers are found not only in structures of stone or veins of water underground, but in the traditions passed through generations. Each solution, each innovation, became a thread woven into the fabric of survival. In reflecting on their legacy, we find ourselves pondering questions that echo far beyond the sands. What does it truly mean to endure, to build, and to hope in the harshest corners of our world? Desert societies challenge us to look deeper into the meaning of home and community. When the land offered little mercy, they built havens from adversity. Their stories carry moments of struggle, ingenuity, and silent triumph, reminding us that even the most inhospitable places can become sanctuaries. As we explore their legacy, we are inspired to seek resilience within ourselves and to see beauty where others might see only emptiness. The wisdom of these ancient people endures in whispering winds and shifting sand dunes. Their knowledge carried on in stories, songs, and customs, patiently teaching new generations how to read the subtleties of terrain and sky. By remembering their achievements, we reconnect with timeless truths about adaptation, humility, and the strength that arises from collective will. Their deserts, though silent, continue to speak with a gentle, patient voice. We are reminded that innovation often flourishes where the need is greatest. From invisible wells drawn in barren earth to cities hidden beneath the sun, these marvels are a testament to human curiosity and persistence. We can imagine ancestors tending fragile oases by moonlight, whispering hopes to the stars. Their legacy invites us to listen more closely to forgotten stories and to value the lessons the desert whispers to those willing to listen. As the sands shift and centuries pass, the inventiveness of these communities becomes ever more remarkable. Each small victory channeling water, crafting tools, building shelter echoes with ingenuity born from scarcity. In their determination, we see an abiding hope that even the harshest worlds can be softened through unity and vision. These echoes stir a sense of wonder, urging us to never underestimate what can blossom in unlikely places. It is easy to lose sight of the patient artistry that shaped these societies. With every sun-bleached stone and every carefully dug channel, a message is inscribed, a silent encouragement to meet difficulty with creativity. Their achievements seem not just feats of survival, but acts of celebration, proof that life can flourish in the spaces between hardship and hope. We are invited to see deserts not as lifeless, but as landscapes alive with hidden story. This journey, from the ancient depths to the present day, invites us to reflect on the broader meaning of progress. True advancement is not only measured in grand cities or powerful empires, but in the quiet wisdom that enables life to endure. Desert societies leave behind more than hidden waterways and secret cities. They offer us a way of seeing the world, one that honors patience, resilience, and the artistry of adaptation. As our story concludes, the echoes among the sands remain. They linger at the edges of our imagination, asking us to carry their lessons forward. We are left with wonder for those who created life where none should have existed, and gratitude for the enduring human spirit. In their memory, we find hope and inspiration, proof that ingenuity and unity can transform even the harshest deserts into thriving homes.